Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Josh and this is your stimulus check update for the second stimulus package for Monday, August 31st. I hope everyone is off to a good and safe start to their week so far. Also, I can't believe we're almost in September. This year has just been something else. In this video, I'll be discussing both the first and second stimulus check. I'll also be discussing unemployment, what's to come this week as far as stimulus negotiations go, and then I'll be wrapping up this video by answering some of the comments and questions that I received in my previous video. But first, if you wouldn't mind real quickly liking this video, give me a big thumbs up. It really just helps with the YouTube algorithm in terms of pushing this video out to other viewers like you, and hopefully helping other people like you as well. Okay, so I'm going to start out this video once again by quickly going over the updates in the federal unemployment insurance benefits. I'll be going over the states that have already paid out the benefits, which states have already been approved for the benefits, and which states are currently awaiting approval for the benefits. Okay, so first up, you'll see on the screen the list of the states that have already started paying out the $300 federal plus up. We can only hope that more states are soon to join them in the future. Okay, and now up on the screen, you'll see the list of the states that have already been approved for the benefits, but have not yet started paying out the benefits to their residents. We can only hope that we see the majority of these states begin to pay out the benefits in the next couple of weeks. According to the White House, it should only take 1 to 2 weeks for each state to begin paying out the benefits once approved by FEMA, but some state officials expect for it to take a little bit longer. We can only hope that we don't see too big of a delay for the majority of the states. And finally, here's the list of the states who have either applied for the benefits or have committed to apply for the benefits in the future, but are still seeking approval from FEMA. I'm expecting that by the end of this week, these states should be accepted. Usually, it's only taking a couple of days from when the state applies for the benefits to when they're accepted by FEMA. And at this point, South Dakota is the only state to have declined the benefits, which was a major shocker to most people. I mean, even if you feel that your state is doing just fine for the most part, you may as well allow your residents who are still unemployed to have an extra bit of help during this time. I would say that the people who are still unemployed in the state of South Dakota probably aren't the most happy with their governor right now. Also, so far the only states that have committed to paying out the extra $100 to match the 25% of $400 are Kansas, Kentucky, Montana, and West Virginia. I definitely hope to see more states soon to follow on committing to that 25% match. Okay, moving right along to some updates on the next relief package and the second stimulus check. Even though things are looking a bit gloom right now as far as passing of the next relief package, I'm going to let you know why I think we can see a big change in things over the next couple of weeks. Right now, the two sides are right around $900 billion apart, which undoubtedly is quite a big difference. Nancy Pelosi's current offer stands at $2.2 trillion, whereas Mark Meadows and the White House's offer stands at $1.3 trillion. Any day now, either side could just agree with the others, or they could even agree to meet somewhere in the middle if they both conceded another $450 billion each. So we're really not that far away if you think of it like that. The Republicans raising their budget up $450 billion, and Nancy Pelosi lowering her target down another $450 billion. We could have a deal as soon as this week. However, it just depends on how much both sides are willing to bend right now. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi right now is going with an all or nothing approach, where she either wants $2 trillion or nothing at all. Mark Meadows said he offered $1.3 trillion that would also include funding for schools, childcare, and hospitals at levels Pelosi would agree with, but she still doesn't believe the number is high enough. Of course, his offer also included a second round of stimulus checks, extended unemployment benefits, and aid for small businesses, among other things. Meadows also insisted that such a plan would be able to pass the Senate, so if Pelosi could get on board with it, then she should be able to convince enough Democrats to pass it in the House as well. Speaking of the House, Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin plans to testify before House lawmakers on Tuesday due to stalled stimulus negotiations. He will be testifying before the House Select Subcommittee on the Virus Crisis, chaired by Representative James Clyburn. In this hearing, they'll be examining the urgent need for additional economic relief for workers, families, children, and the administration's implementation of key stimulus programs that were passed by Congress earlier in the year. This hearing will be Mnuchin's first congressional testimony since the negotiations for the next relief package stalled out just a few weeks ago with House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. In this hearing, they should be able to discuss what measures will be best for the American people and the American economy, and we can only hope they see a lot of progress take place. If you remember, Steven Mnuchin has been a key figure in these negotiations between the Republicans and the Democrats. He's been known as sort of a middleman between the two parties, helping them stick together, push negotiations forward. So with that said, between Mnuchin's testimony on Tuesday and the White House's continued push for the next relief package, we can only hope we see a bill pass in the next few weeks. Remember, they're really not that far off. The two sides agree on a lot of issues overall, and with the elections coming up in less than 3 months, there's going to be a lot of motivation on both sides to get something done. We could even see the White House decide to concede even more, knowing that it would most likely only increase Trump's chances in the election if he gets out another round of stimulus checks right before the election takes place. Just think of it that way. Now, I'm not sure if they'll be willing to throw in another $1 trillion, because if you do that, then you may not be able to get enough votes in the Senate from the more conservative Republicans, but it's quite possible they'll be willing to move their number up even more. And remember, Trump can also potentially convince many Republicans who aren't willing to spend just because of his position in power. Even if we have some Republicans concerned about the overall debt and not wanting to spend more money, I'm sure if the president pushed them enough, they'd be willing to vote yes on any bill to get it pushed through. So we'll really just have to wait and see. Like I said, things are looking a little bit gloom right now. Some people are all but giving up on the next relief package and the next stimulus check, but there is hope here. There's a lot of pressure on our politicians right now, and eventually something definitely has to give. When the job numbers for August come out, if we don't see an improvement, then that may put even more pressure on Republicans to increase the overall budget. On the other hand, if the job numbers are looking better, then that could possibly put some more pressure on Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats to move the overall budget down, so that's definitely something to keep an eye out on. Either way, I do believe that we will start seeing a bit more progress in the coming week. Nothing guaranteed, but there's definitely some things we have to be optimistic about. It's not all doom and gloom right now, so let's hang in there and try not to give up hope just yet. Alright, so at this point in time, I'm just going to give a quick update on the first round of stimulus payments, because unfortunately, there are still millions of Americans who haven't even received their first stimulus check yet. This is very frustrating because it's quite possible that if Congress finally gets their act together and passes the next relief package, a second round of stimulus checks may be going out before some people even receive their first stimulus check. With that said, let me know in the comment section below if you've received your first stimulus check or if you're still waiting for it at this point in time. Now, if you've received your $1,200 stimulus check, but you never received the $500 for your dependents under the age of 17, the IRS did say that you should be receiving the $500 by mid-October at latest. Of course, if you're on Social Security benefits and you haven't used the non-filers tool to claim your dependents under the age of 17, then you need to do so by September 30th in order to receive the $500. Now, if you've already used the non-filers tool to do so, then no action is required on your part at this point in time. Additionally, if you have a spouse that had past due child support, and so you had your stimulus check garnished also, then you should be receiving your $1,200 next month. Now, that would only be if you filled out Form 8379 on the IRS website, which is the Injured Spouse Allocation Form. If you didn't fill out that form, then the IRS will still send you the $1,200 if it was withheld, but it may take a bit longer than September to receive it. Also, no action will be required on your part at this time if you didn't fill out that form. And again, this is only for the spouses of those with past due child support who will receive their payment. If you personally have past due child support yourself, then you won't be able to get the $1,200 until possibly the next round of stimulus payments, where at this point it's unknown whether or not they will be garnished. I will definitely keep you updated one way or another though. Now, if you haven't yet received your first check, then there's not much you can do at this point rather than continue to be patient and wait. The IRS is going to continue sending out more and more payments each and every week, with the next wave of direct deposit set to go out on Wednesday, September 2nd. In the meantime, continue to check the payment portal and you will eventually receive a payment date. Also, if you would like to call the IRS, you can still most definitely do so. The best number you can reach them at would be 1-800-919-9835, and the only piece of recommendation that I would have for you is to try calling a little bit earlier in the day just to avoid those longer hold times. Okay, so at this point, I'm just going to answer some of the comments and questions that I received in my previous video, And if you have any other comments or questions for me, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. I do try to respond to as many of the comments and questions as I possibly can, but for those comments and questions I'm not able to respond to, I do try to pick some of the more popular ones to answer in the next video in video form. Okay, so without further ado, let me go ahead and jump into the first comment of today's video, which is from Steven. Steven says, "Hey Josh, do you know when SSI disability people get the second $1,200 stimulus check?" All right, thank you so much for your question, Steven. And at this point, the timeline is really up in the air. The next stimulus check could possibly go out as soon as the next couple of weeks, or it's quite possible we may never end up receiving it. Now, the good news is that both the Democrats and the Republicans are fully on board with the second round of stimulus checks, but the major hangup is how much spending should be in the next bill. Democrats want to spend around $1 trillion more than the Republicans do, and Nancy Pelosi does not want to pass a second round of stimulus checks until Republicans agree to spend more on state and local government. With that said, it is my prediction that they will agree on something by the end of September, and we will see another round of checks either in late September or at some point in October. Okay, moving right along to the next question of today's video, which is from Tanya. Tanya says, "Are we getting back pay from August 1st for unemployment benefits?" Okay, thank you so much for your question, Tanya. And yes, the unemployment benefits will be retroactive from August 1st. Now, the catch here is that states may only receive around 3 to 5 weeks of benefits from FEMA due to the limited funding they had. So if your state doesn't start processing the payments until sometime in mid-September, then they won't have the full 6 to 7 weeks of payments to send out to their residents. So even though they will technically be paying from August 1st, they won't be able to pay fully out to the middle of September due to the amount of money available running out. I do hope that that makes sense. And that's exactly why it's so important that Congress can finally get a bill together to not only send out another round of stimulus checks, but also to extend the federal unemployment benefits on a longer term, more stable basis. We can only hope that they're able to do so in the next month or so at latest. Alright, so on that note, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video. If you did enjoy the content in this video and you'd like to see more videos like it, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. It is completely free to do so, and it's a great support to me. Also, if you'd like to receive 2 free stocks from Webull, with the second free stock being valued all the way up to $1,400, please feel free to claim those 2 free stocks by clicking the link in the description box below. And until next time, I'll see you guys, and I hope you have a great day today.